All I've ever wanted is to make a Laura Basson approved card. Hey everyone, it's Cathy Zielske. Welcome back to my channel and my studio. Today, I've got a card that is Laura Basson approved. I had a leaf, I made a wreath. Have a leaf, make a wreath. For those of you who aren't following Laura, right now, stop this video, look below in the description, start watching her create. Laura's amazing, she's funny, she's gorgeous, and she's not crazy, brilliant. So today my card is totally inspired by a Laura Basson wreath. I did it, I'm proud. And again, to see that card project, stick around. It's coming up next. Here's a look at the products I'll be using today. And I did do some die cutting in advance because I have never made any sort of rainbow sprig leafy thing. I am channeling my inner Laura Basson and I'm going to do something with this. So I die cut a bunch of these out from my scrap bin, right? This is just different companies and manufacturers of paper, just the colors that I thought would be great. The design is going to be based around this die, which is just called Sister, and it is a word and shadow die for making a card for your sister. Now, I have some sentiment strips here, and I don't know if I'm going to use the white reverse, or what we call the reverse ones, or just the black ink on white. These are foilable, and I have had such good success lately now that I have finally figured out how to use my Minc, so I might foil something just for fun. But I need to figure out, am I going to do a wreath? Am I going to do something different? Because I think I'm going to give my little die cuts a haircut or a leaf cut. So let me grab some scissors. Got my scissors here, and I think all I'm going to do, where do I want to cut this? I'm going to cut each one right here. Okay, and what's kind of cool here, I have, well, you could basically get two wreaths out of one, come to think of it. So I'm going to go ahead and get all of these cut, right, so that we have little pieces that could be used for extra things. And I will set these aside and let's just cut them all out. I'm going to set these aside for something else, or not. But I just realized as I was going through, I'm like, oops, kind of did that one. So here's what I'm going to do. I like that better. So I'm going to cut the bottom leaf off every single one of these. And here's a fun way just to take something with more greenery, right? And if you don't want all that greenery, you just, you give it a leaf cut. So should have done that from the start, but you live, you learn. You change your mind. All right, we'll get those cut and trimmed. And now I have to figure out what the arrangement and what my sister die cut is going to look like. I'm going to have to cut this apart because these are tabbed. And so I just go in with these little snips and get it. And as soon as I get one snipped, then the rest come out pretty easily, like that. I'll work my way around and get this cut out. I went ahead and die cut a white layer for the shadow out of some Neenah Solar White Classic Crest in the 110. I also did two more, again, white layers to build up dimension. And then I have the matte gold cardstock from Simon Says Stamp that's going to be the top layer. Of course, I saved my little tittles up there, and I'm going to add some adhesive to the back so I can build up some dimension. Let me put some spray glue on these and we'll be right back. Little side note, when I use this spray glue, I always keep a mask on because my office isn't super well ventilated, and I do this away from my computer now and my workspace just because I want to keep where I'm spraying and where I'm gluing completely separate. So let me add the glue and we can build up the layers. Sometimes it's easier to build up the dimension right onto the die cut shadow layer. It can help you just, wiggle and move it a little bit, although spray glue is not super forgiving. You can also use liquid glue as well, which I will be using for the little tittles. That has a little more forgiving nature, but I just really enjoy the quickness of the spray glue. So we'll get our little, well, that's a little much, a little dot of glue here. And I'm just going to pick this up with my pick and stick tool. Maybe kind of just put that over there. I know that glue will dry clear, although I probably could just kind of wipe a little away with that. Okay. And again, build up the dimension right on the die cut. And the wax tip picks these up very nicely. Like that. Okay. And the gold layer on top. So now, you know, I'm kind of working without an actual plan. Like I think I know what I'm doing, but I think I'm going to figure out my greeting next. Now I am going to bring in the black on white because I will show you what's in here. Cut this open. See, I want to prove to you that this blade is so dull it can barely cut through thin plastic. So I know some people get nervous with the way I handle that thing, but I promise I'm not going to harm well, I don't think I'm going to harm myself. Okay, so here we have our little sister. I could do we are family. I'll keep all of your secrets, always here for you. And then the other is, I'll show you, there's two designs. The other is sister, thanks for keeping me sane. You are my family. So glad we grew up together. I can always count on you. You know what? This is kind of a lovely bit. Grateful for you always and forever. I actually really like these lowercase ones. So I might do thanks for being you, or grateful for you, or thanks for keeping me sane, because that would be a really sweet little sub-greeting sentiment to have. But maybe grateful for you for now, or just thanks for being you would be better from a space standpoint. I am going to cut these out with my sentiment labels. Let me show you those real quick. This die set, right, cuts out these greetings and it doesn't hurt any little other part of the piece around it. So I'm going to cut this out and then I'm going to have my Misty in the next scene set up, get some foil, and we are going to foil this. Here's my Minc. I'm going to go ahead and, let's see, how do we put it at 3. Now here's the reason a Minc is so great in comparison to a regular laminator. It's only because it heats up so fast. I have had this probably for a decade at least. So while that's warming up, I've got my little, this is just some parchment paper, but here's the key to foiling these foilable sentiment strips: pressure. Okay, I have one piece, that's just regular 80-pound, but then I have 2 more pieces in here of 110-pound weight cardstock. It adds just that little extra pressure that you need to make this work. So let's get this open. I also want to show you the best tip you'll ever know for opening these. Oh, there, see how fast it is? Put in your little guy like this and just do that. Opens like a dream and you're good to go. All right, let me grab some scissors. I'm just going to cut a little strip off my foil roll. Do I have one piece there? I think I do. I don't need much, but I might as well just, sometimes I just cut it all. It's not like I foil so much that I'm, wasting a whole lot, but I'll roll this back up and put it inside my tube. Just like that. Some people take it out and then just keep it in like a sleeve, but for my Deco foil, I just like to keep them in these tubes ready to go. All right, so now I take my greeting and I'm going to put the foil over. I guess I could cut a little off. Okay. Pretty side up, right? Because that's what's going to bond to the toner. Fold it, smooth it, make sure you're good to go, that you didn't miss any of it. And now we're just going to run it through. As soon as it grabs, it will take the parchment sleeve through and we're good to go. Now, the Minc does come with a little plastic carrier. I think I lost mine 7 years ago, and I never bothered to reorder, because you can do this with parchment paper. In fact, ThermoWeb sells a package as well, and you can cut that into pieces and not use your kitchen parchment. All right, it's coming through. We're almost there. All right, now let's slide our Minc back. I'll show you. I'll show you what happens. It works pretty darn well. We're peeling and revealing, and that foils perfectly. Let me zoom in here. Look at that shine. Wait, we're gonna get it there. There we go. There we go. All foiled and golden. There it is right there. Goodness. It's beautiful. All right. Oh, my die cut. I have a little extra paper there. All right. So I can trim these down and pick which one I want. I'm just going to trim this out with my little baby trimmer. I like to put the first letter just past that guard there, and that's how I trim from side to side. One letter past, and that gives me really nice, even margins on either side of my greeting. Like that. Don't know which one I'm using yet, but you know, I can stick the other one into the pocket right there and cut. Perfect. All right, 2 little golden greetings. Here's the part that I don't know. Am I making a wreath or am I doing something else now? This is gonna, I have an idea. It might not work, but here's that idea. So we take a circle. Okay, any circle die will work. And then I think, is that going to be too, is that going to be too, it might be. And what I'm saying for 2, is this going to be too small? Because what I want to try to figure out, well, I guess I could just draw one onto my panel, because then we're going to go, you know, our sister's going to be in there and the little greeting. I think this will work. Okay, hold on. Let me get my card base prepped. I hope this works. I guess we're going to find out, right? We're going to find out. We're going to score. When I pick it up, I score away, right, from the line. And we'll go ahead and give this a nice press. Okay, like that. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to tape this down because this cardstock is so pop-uppy, right? That's a patented word. It's so pop-uppy that it needs to be flat for what I'm about to do. All right, there we go. So let's get our wreath back in order here, because I don't, let's see, red into the pinks, into the yellows. See how we're working our way across the rainbow? I'm going to tape this down too. I don't want it to slip. I could put it on some grip mat, but I don't have the grip mat handy because I just had to wash some of it. It got pretty mucky. Okay, we're holding this down. We're going to put this in the center. Okay, just the center. Well, actually though, what if we came up a little? Would that be prettier to have, you know, more of a 2/3, 1/3 thing? You know what? I'm going to do it. It's just, I'm feeling that today. And I'm going to take my pencil and I'm going to hold this down. I hope I can do this and just do the lightest little circle that I can muster. Just to give me the guide, right? Look at that. You can barely see it on here, but I feel good. And if it turns out that I just don't have enough on here, although I think that I will, right? Because we're going to be going around the mountain, trying to tuck that under, right? Is that going to be enough? Okay, you know what? I'm going to start with one at the top, and I'm going to start with my liquid glue. Let me turn on some music, and we'll see if Cathy has spatial ability. Just a heads up, this was my lowest score on my SATs, but there you go. Okay, here's how do we think? Now here's the only thing. The only thing I see is that I'm off a little. So you know what I might do? I might turn this into a panel because that off center is bugging me, okay? So here's the beautiful thing, right? You just take it, right? You take it like that. You open it. Let me get my paper trimmer. As soon as this is dry, I'm gonna bring it in and we'll cut. For this, I need my regular guillotine, not my rotary trimmer, which I have been using a lot lately, because this is a trimmer that I know, well, I know it like the back of my hand. Let's get that. Okay, I want to make sure that I get it right at that score line, okay? So we've cut that off. And now I am going to make sure, let's go to 4 inches. I feel like that's kind of what I needed to do so it was centered. So now we just make it 4 by 5 1/4, like that. Let's make sure that's lined up. And now I just solved a problem. Very excited because now I can zhuzh my wreath a little. But let me get some foam tape on the back of this panel and make a new note card. Going to take the backers off of this Ulta New foam tape. Okay, like that. And I'm going to place this on top of my note card. Excuse my head if it gets in the way. Like that. With that nice little margin all the way around. Now I can do some zhuzhing of my wreath in a second. I'm going to put some foam tape on the back of Sister. Like that. That should fit because Sister is going to go right there in the wreath. Oh, this is looking really good. And then I'm going to do Grateful for You. So I'm going to take a piece of foam tape, like, well, I guess I'll just go make my own little strips. I'll go wrangle those in a second. Come on back. Come on back. I'm a sentiment foam tape wrangler. Now Sister will get put right in there. So the center of the wreath really does kind of get filled in, and I do like it at the top. And as soon as this is all in place, then I'm going to bend and maybe just kind of play a little with the placement of the wreath. Okay, let's add our greeting. And I'm going to use liquid glue on here for this so that I can see exactly what I need to do. And the liquid glue gives me a little wiggle room, okay, like that. I'll bring in my Simon Says Stamp T-square and we'll pop this right here. Right here in the center. Oh, I'm so glad I trimmed this panel down. Now I'll get this out of the way for a second and just bring this ruler in and make sure that's straight. Perfect. There we go. Oh, love it. Okay, and then again, take the backers off of the sub-greeting with the shine. You know, when I started this card, I thought it was going to be so quick because I did the die cutting in advance. Oh, Cathy, you always think that's going to happen. Well, you know, sometimes I do think even the simplest cards, they take some time, and I've never done a rainbow wreath, so I'm feeling pretty good about this. And actually, I'm going to hold this right like that, and I'm going to stand up just so I get the placement right where I want it. Again, little head there, little heads up. We're going to pop you right about there, right underneath. Make sure that's straight. Looks a little wonky to me. Okay, get up there. Coming down. And are we straight? Gosh, I'm having a hard time getting it straight. Okay, come on. You can do this, Cathy. You have the technology. There's my head. Okay. Grateful for you. Yeah, that's good. Okay. I love it. I love this. Now, let me see if I could just put a few gold sequins on here. Let me grab a few to scatter about. I may have gone a little overboard, but I am obsessed with pearls right now, and these are from Studio Katya. Let me move this so I don't flip it. I just think this is fun. So I've got both the smallest size and the largest that I'm going to work my way around and just add a little bling. Oh, come on now, pick up. Oh, come on. Pick up. If you ever can't get the pickup, blow on it for a minute with your hot, hot breath, and it will kind of just give the wax just kind of what it needs. This works so well with sequins, but sometimes with these smaller ones, with the pearls, as they get heavier, they can be harder to do. I'm popping one right in there. So some are on the wreath, some are, floating around. This is just giving it texture. And I mean, this is a lot. It's a lot for a clean and simple card. And and we are done. And that is my finished card projects. Let me untape this here. I think that turned out really fun. Sister, grateful for you. Now, I don't have any sisters, but I have some of the best sister-in-laws out there, and I could give this card to any of them and let them know how great they are, because they are. And here too, I know this is going to get flattened in a card, but you can do a little zhuzhin, a little bending up of some of the elements, right? It's meant to be, so that gives it just a little bit more, something, something, something. But I love how this turned out. You can find links to all of the products I used in today's video in the YouTube description box. I would love to have you become a subscriber to my channel, so be sure to subscribe, hit that notification bell so that you don't miss the next time I post. To see a few more card projects featuring some of my signature word die cuts, check out the 2 thumbnails I have linked for you below, and I'll see you in those videos.